All right. Let's see here. Getting everything set up. Let's see. We're just getting ready to get started. Just getting ready. Make that a little easier. Hey Mitch, hey Cameron. How's it going, guys? How is it going? Joseph, howdy. If you guys went and watched the YouTube stream instead, it actually helps me out because it makes my channel seem more important to YouTube, which gets me extra stuff. Whereas I don't really get anything from Facebook. But it seems like more people like the Facebook stream. So I'm doing them both. But if you could watch it on YouTube, that would be better. And today I have it set up so that I can actually see the YouTube chat better than last night. And we're going to start here in just a couple minutes. We'll start making wallets. I got a bunch of these cut, and I'm going to sew them. Can you guys hear me all right? You should just be able to click on that. Cameron. Hey, Paloma. You should just be able to click on that YouTube link. It does help me out if you watch it on YouTube instead. It makes me seem super important on YouTube, which rocks. But if you don't want to do YouTube, that's fine. You can just stay on Facebook and watch as well. And we're going to start making some wallets here in a few minutes. I made these super slim wallets that I like a lot. I really enjoy them. Hey, Norm. And I cut about, 5 or 6 more blanks that I'm going to sew together and try to make pretty and try to figure out how to get that line straighter. See how crooked that is? I'm going to try to get that straighter. I've got some ideas. Just going to goof around a little bit. It'll be fun. Like I was saying earlier, the link isn't clickable on mobile. Well, damn. Hey, Tony. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with mobile and the link being clickable or not. If you can copy and paste it, that'd be cool. Or check my Twitter. I'll post the link there to it as well. Might be easier from Twitter. There we go. I posted that on Twitter. And I'll get started here in a minute. If anybody has said anything on the YouTube, I've not seen it. I'm only seeing Facebook. So it helps me if you watch on YouTube, but if you don't want to, if you just want to stay on Facebook, that's fine. I'm on both. It's like magic. Modern day amazing stuff. We're going to make wallets in just a minute. Giving a couple more people a chance to trickle in. Not that I expect... Did you type that out manually? Crazy. I don't expect a lot of people. But, hey, Darla. It's been a while. I'm going to make some wallets. So here's what I've been playing with. I've got all this leather. I've been cutting it on a laser cutter. So we can see some of those parts are already out. Some of them are still in there. And I'm going to have to do a final little cut to get all the last bits. Hey, Darla. And then, so I cut them on the laser cutter, and then I stitch them together. And here's an example of the last one I made. This is the one I use daily. I love it. It's super slim, super sexy, but it's a little crooked here. So I want to make that straight. Hey, Brian. I've been playing a little bit with getting the machine to embroider stuff. It comes out okay, but not... Like, I wouldn't want to sell this. I don't... Hey, Jerry. I don't know if the... if it's the tension that's off. I'm still working on that. If I get it real close, you might be able to see, like, some of the stitching is, like, really embedded in there. It's just a little too rough and ugly. So I'm still working on that. Hey, Pat. Hey, Jeremy. So I don't know if I'm going to do any of the embroidery, but I might test some on some scraps at least so you can see how it works, because it's pretty neat. And I don't know, that could be a cool wallet if I cut off the extra. Hey, Pat. If I cut off that extra, that could be pretty cool. All of you joining me on Facebook, it would actually help me out a ton if you scrolled up, found the link, and clicked it and watched me on YouTube instead. It makes YouTube think I'm super important. Yeah, Jerry, the tensioning is a key. Here, the only difference between these two is tension, and this one turned out much better. But there's also like thread weight. I'm using for this. I used a super heavyweight thread, and I don't know. We'll see. These are not trifold. These are mega slim. They're like almost. They're just barely a step above a business card holder. They can hold a couple cards and a tiny bit of cash in here. And that's it. It's super slim because I hate carrying around a fat wallet. Hey, Quadrant. How's it going, man? I haven't talked to you in a while. All right. That's on YouTube. All right. Thanks, Brian, for switching to YouTube. It helps me out. All right. So we're going to get started on some of these here in just a minute. We're going to sew some together and do this stitching that is cool. And then I'm going to play around a little bit with some of the embroidery. And we can try that out and see if we can get some better results. So let's get started. Let's get started and put some wallets together. So the first thing I got to do is I got to cut out some blanks and clean them up. Let's see what I got here. Here's one that has all the parts. So let's turn all the cameras. Hey, Woodpecker Gregory. Well, thank you for joining, Quadrant. I'm happy to see you here. Okay. Oh, thank you for switching to YouTube. I appreciate that. You know how it is, right? You're a YouTuber. This live stream bumps your minutes viewed way up and your time watched because people sit through the whole live stream. Okay, so this is something I cut on the laser, right? And then I just need to finish the last few cuts with an X-Acto, and then we can start stitching this together, or maybe do some decorative stitching on it first. So the laser cuts it like 99.9% of the way, and I just end up with a few little fibers left. And I could push it to make it cut all the way, but then I get nasty singeing and burning and stuff. Oh, thanks, Brian. I didn't know that Facebook had better streaming. Maybe it's because I'm doing YouTube from my phone and Facebook from my laptop. Weird. I'll figure that out later. But it does help me on YouTube and Facebook. It doesn't help anything, really. Facebook's weird. Okay, so I accidentally left this stored folded over because I'm an idiot. So it's kind of got some folds in it. Alright, just cutting these last little bits that my poor weak laser didn't get. Because if I did a second pass, or a third pass actually, this was 2 passes. See, there's what's left over. Yeah, Twitch. Oh, goodness. That's just a whole nother can of worms, right? Have I thought of 3D printing or CNCing I make embossed and pressing it into the leather? I have. I actually thought about doing it on the Tormach and CNCing an aluminum plate press now that I have these cut down to the size that I want. So that's kind of the next step in the process is to emboss things because it's kind of neat. So these were cut on the laser, which leaves me with, oh, here's a design update. I added a thumb hole for pushing cards out, and I decided halfway through I didn't like it, so only half of these have this thumb hole. And it's going to require some major cleanup, I see. But once I get this clean, we can make it pretty and sew it together. I should burnish this is what I should do. Oh, I need a cutting mat for this. Oh no! I scratched this one. Yep, I should burnish that. Maybe that's what I'll do. First I gotta clean it up though. So this is actually chrome tan leather, which means that it's colored all the way through and it handles water pretty well, but it's got this char on it just from the laser cutting. And I found a sponge and a couple wipes on this surface help clean it off. Hey Jim, Scott, how's it going, Scott? So I'm just going to this laser cut leather before I start sewing stuff onto it. Just cleaning off a little bit of the char. And this rough side kind of almost burnishes it a little bit. I may burnish it more later. This piece is pretty rough. That's no good. That doesn't make me happy. Oh well. So the cool thing about this, hey Daniel. Dan. The cool thing about this chrome tan leather is that it's tanned all the way through. I don't need to dye the sides. And it doesn't rub off on the insides of your pockets. Okay, so we have the parts here. Those are more or less good enough. I'll burnish this one inside here a bit before we actually get to it. But let's put some prettiness on this before we get started. Now, of the last ones that I did, oh yeah, it's acting weird. No big deal. Switch back to Facebook if it's buffering too much. Sorry about that. Live stream is offline. Hey Andy. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. So anyway, time to put some prettiness on here. Now my favorite one is this one I've been using. It's got this fat stripe of this checkered pattern. And boy, if any of you on YouTube can hear me, if you're having problems with Facebook, I guess, and that one's working fine. So anyway, I'm going to do this same pattern on this other wallet. I've got my sewing machine here set up, but I ran into some problems last time where if you look real close, this is not straight. It's slanted at about 15 degrees, which is less than optimal. So there we go. Try to do this but straight. I got my sewing machine set up here. Let's I can't see all my screens. There we go. So I'm gonna have to rearrange everything, but first I gotta take the embroidery head off of the sewing machine and the embroidery foot off of the sewing machine. Let's get this in view for you. Yeah, Facebook seems to be smoother. Boy, I wish Facebook had a better, like... Sorry, Quadrant. If you go over to Facebook, join me. Yeah, Kirby. I hear you. It's unfortunate, but I guess that's just the way it's working. Okay, so I gotta switch feet back to my sewing foot. This is not the whole thing. Yes, it is. It's just a pain. And I think I'm gonna do blue. Seems like blue would be a cool color to do that with. You know? So we're gonna do blue. Let's see what color of blue we have. I think, whoops. I think this blue would be quite beautiful. Let's set that there, see if you can see it on the screen. Neri Stella, Sean Lewis, Justin Leto, thanks for joining. So, I'm missing a part here. Here we go. Gotta put my machine back together and plug the footrest back in. And swap out my thread for my blue thread. And then we're gonna try rigging up this machine with a guide so I can go straight, because it was having some issues last time. I was skewing. I'll show you that in a second. I just showed everybody. So I'm just putting the blue thread in. This is just embroidery thread for the visual part of it. I'll switch to a heavy duty thread for the structural parts of the leather. And I actually have a matching blue for that. So we'll do an all blue wallet. Well, black leather, blue stitching. It'll be sexy as hell. Alright. So this is theoretically ready to go. Now, like I was saying before, see how that's not straight? Not straight. Not straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make like a woodworking jig, basically. Let me move all my cameras so you guys can see what I'm doing here. I've got this up on a pedestal a bit so I can get around it. And let's see here. A background layer before I embroider the logo. Not sure exactly what you mean by that, but when you embroider big designs, it does do a backing layer automatically to cover it. I think that might be what you mean, and it kind of does that on its own. So, here's my idea. Basically, from woodworking, right, like I'll clamp some wood on here, and this way, as it moves, as it pulls through, hopefully, it will pull through directly, like, with the wood, like on a table saw, like a fence, right? So I'm trying to set up this fence. Thing is, this doesn't slide very well at all. And so what I do is, I've got this stuff. Now this is something sharp in my foot. This stuff is a backer I use for embroidery that kind of holds everything together, and it helps it slide through the system better. Because this fuzzy backing here does not work well. The fuzzy backing here does not work well with the little grabber feet under here on a standard the backer here helps the feet grab it. So I'm going to use backer, but I'm not going to put it in a hoop. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw it down here. Let's see, you can see that. And I'm going to take some spray adhesive for sewing and embroidery. And basically, I'm just going to hit that with some spray adhesive. That stuff actually wears off pretty well once it's all done. I just hold that on there for a second, and that'll help it feed through the machine smoother and hopefully straight. And while we give that a moment to adjust, let's see about putting our fence in place. Now I don't know if this is really going to help me. Maybe I should just take my time and just feed it through straighter, right? Because, I mean, that would be the proper way, I would think. But setting up a fence seems like... Oh, that fence is too wide. Fence is too wide. It seems like setting up a fence would be helpful. So I'm just snipping off the extra here. And you can see that, but you can't see that. So let's move you... Oh, Facebook. Folks. Boy, there's just not enough counter space here for everything. What's in the way? Cell phone. Not only do I have all of these various thingies, I have all the cables that go to these various thingies. So you can see here, this is the setup. Oh yeah, that feels good. That's gonna slide just right. And if I want that about there, I'm gonna just clamp this sucker in place. Now this isn't straight. Maybe that's my problem. I don't even know what straight is. Well, it almost feels like it's just gonna catch on that wood. You know, I've got a bunch of HDPE. Maybe I need to just manufacture a super slick HDPE fence that clamps into this real easy. And then that'll do the job for me. You know? What do you think? Gonna take bets on whether or not this is gonna work? Hey, Kenneth. You know, I don't know, Kenneth. Kenneth is asking if it tends to pull the machine, or tends to pull the leather one way or another, and I don't know for sure. I think we will find out. Boy, this almost feels like the fence is just going to get in my way here. You know what? There's only one way to find out, right? So, I gotta find the stitch that I like. This thing has like 75 stitches. And there's some pretty neat ones. You can hear the dogs going nuts upstairs. Upside down clamp. Well, if... I can't flip them over. That's the only way they fit right now. Maybe I'll check that out later. So, here's the one that I want. And here we go. Test of the fence. You can take bets to see if this is going to be a failure or if it's going to work, and if the dogs will ever stop barking. I don't know what they're barking at. Oh, a neighbor walking down the street. Okay. Fence test number 1. Here we go. Hope you have your wagers on. Oh, but I'm too far back. I want it right at the edge. And I'm not against the fence. I was going to cheat and just do it with my hand. Okay, here we go. Testing the fence. Alright. I don't want to ruin this leather, so let's hope it works. So, the difficulty here with this pattern is that it goes forward and then backward and then forward and then backward and then forward and then backward and sideways. This kind of checkerboard pattern. And since this is leather, I have to keep it going fairly slow. Or else the needle will break. Boy, you can see it wiggling from side to side. Because it not only does it go forward, backward, forward, backward, forward, backward, but it also kind of goes side to side to create that checkerboard pattern. And this is the moment of truth. Not straight, but better. Let me see, where can I put this so that people can see it? You can't see that with the light. Here, let's get this light over here. Is the fence straight? The fence is more or less straight, but this pattern, let's see how close you guys can see it. No, you know what? I have a trick. This pattern, especially if I show you on the white. Here, on the backer you can see it a little bit better. And let me, okay, if I don't get in. See how the pattern goes side to side? If I was doing just a straight stitch, it would go straight. But since it also goes side to side as it stitches, it's kind of like wanting to twist. And this one has the added difficulty, you can see on the back here, that it spread out while I was stitching it. Luckily though, lucky for me, it looks like I did that on purpose. So I'm gonna totally keep that because that's awesome. It looks like I did it on purpose. So we're just gonna continue and we're gonna sew this one together. Now, this one, with that backer on it, it just peels off. I could get like a water-soluble backer, but I'm not gonna stress about it. And I've actually been using embroidery thread for these wallets, and it's held together incredibly well because I coat them with this stuff that locks the threads in kind of a plastic coating, like a rubber coating. Let's see here. Aika? I don't know how you pronounce your name. I apologize. Am I using leather needles? I'm using heavy-duty needles that are basically denim needles. And they work pretty well. They work really well. And you'll see now, I'm going to take this off and I'll stitch a straight line because I'm going to assemble a full wallet now and it'll go perfectly straight. It's just that that stitch wants to back up and go forward and go sideways and back up. So maybe I just need to not do that stitch. Really, I think might be the lesson to be learned here. Okay, so here's how this wallet goes together. I don't know how much you guys can see. Oh, come on now. I'm gonna stack the cell phone on top of something when I find something to put under it so you guys can see better. I'll be right back. Don't go away. I'm back. Don't go away. Okay. I'm gonna block of wood and stack this on here. Okay. And so you should be able to see a little better now. And you should both be able to see pretty well. Organic line. Yeah, I know, right? I should just go for that as a look. So here's how the wallet fits together. Got a bottom piece. I'm trying to put this where everybody can see it. And then this goes on it. And then this goes on top of that. And then I sew the back on. And you end up with a full wallet. So this is what we end up with. Right? So that's what we're going to do now. So I got to switch back to my straight stitch. And there's actually a stitch I've been using that is it stitches over the same area twice, which is kind of nice, I think. 32. We'll see how this one does. I've got an area that I can stitch here that is pretty forgiving. So it's a good place to test a stitch. So I just line things up visually. Yeah, I don't like that thumb spot very much at all. That's not lined up. And once I get things lined up visually, now people who do this all the time will take rubber cement and use a dab of rubber cement to hold things in place, which I would do if I had all the time in the world. But I don't feel like sitting around for 15 minutes waiting for this to cure on a live video feed. So that's the back card holder. It just gets a stitch across, and then I clean that up, and before I cover that up, I'm actually going to take my thread locker and coat that in thread locker, which makes it hold very well. And this stuff looks like it's going to make the leather ugly, but it doesn't. It just goes in and locks that thread in place. And I just blow on that and let it dry a tiny bit. Oh, neither of my cameras have been knocked over. I don't let the cats in this shop, believe it or not. They are not allowed. Okay, and I can also sew the top corner of this one. What would be fun is if I could get a camera up even closer. We'll work on that in a minute. Keep the camera angles interesting. Now I have to be careful because I have not given myself a lot of space in this design for this stitching. Like that may actually be too close inward from the edge so that cards won't fit in there. We'll see. And my phone just made a noise and I don't know why. No idea. Well, Andy, there's no better time than yesterday. Okay. Next piece is laid in place. Let's see if we can't get a better angle, better camera angle, so you guys can see it better. Larry, how's it going, man? I saw you were putting up some art downtown. We're just sewing some leather wallets here. But first, I'm going to see about swapping camera angles around so that people can see the action. Oh boy, the dog's found something interesting. I hope y'all don't get motion sick from moving around so much. There we go. There's an angle for Facebook. No. There we go. And then for YouTube, you can't see anything. There we go. Okay. So, I'm going to stitch right along this outer edge here. And you see, I have no problems keeping this line straight. because the machine's not trying to backtrack and do anything fancy like it is with that design on the back. I don't think that my, well, it starts to go crooked. I don't think that my fence did anything for me. Okay, so now we have one side stitched, and then we got to put the back on it, stitch it all together, and give it a coat of thread locker. I wish the dogs would stop barking. See, shop cats and shop dogs, both, you know, they've got their uses. Jordan, how's it going? Oh, I didn't see that question. Andy, yes, you can sew with a basic machine. This is a basic machine. This is a very basic machine. This is just a Brother SE425, which aside from doing fancy embroidery, is just a regular sewing machine. It's not industrial. The only thing special I've done for leather is I've got a heavy duty needle, which is rated for denim, and you can get heavy duty thread as well. Though right now I'm just using embroidery thread because I'm not sure that this, my goodness, I wish the dogs would stop barking. A neighbor's doing yard work. They're just going to bark this whole time. So be it. Okay. So I stack up my parts here, and now I'm sewing all 3 layers. Oh, but I need to sew it this direction so that the foot goes under the whole thing. And I have to keep everything lined up perfectly because I did not glue it. Most people glue it. And I have to be careful to get it tight enough to the edge that cards will still fit in it. So right now I'm going through 3 layers of leather. If you can hear it over the dogs barking, it really just chunks through. And if you go too fast, it snaps your needle. So there's one side of all 3 layers. So the wallet's starting to take shape now. And then I need to do the bottom and the top, leaving a pocket here for cash. Now, I'm not doing anything fancy around these corners. Maybe as I get better, I will, maybe as I get better, I'll go around the corners. But, what's rib stitch? Hey, Maria. So here we go, nice and slow. Because that's going through a lot of leather there. That's just 2 layers. Yeah, see, that goes nice and straight. I'm not struggling on that. Nice and straight. I say, look at that curve. Let's see if I can get the light on it. Let's see if I can show it off on Facebook over here. That's not straight. It's got a curve to it. After I was bragging about how straight it was. Alright, one final row, and we are done. So, that is one finished wallet that has some problems I need to fix. And then it needs some thread lock to keep the thread from coming out. So, problems. I will show you once I find my thread seam ripper, because I need to resew a seam. Oh no! I gave one of my kids my seam ripper. So, the problem I have here is that I didn't line things up perfectly on this bottom edge. And you can see it went off the edge there. So I gotta cut that seam. I gotta cut that seam and restitch it. Luckily, it should be easy. Oh, and that was the one that was crooked anyway. So I'm just using the X-Acto knife to cut that seam because my thread ripper, my seam ripper, has disappeared. It's going to be a little ugly, but gets the job done. I hope. Jerry, you're asking, you can embroider right on it or use a backer. When done, you just pull it and it rips clean. Oh, yeah, I've got a bunch of that. That's what I used for this back part here. But I don't want to use it on the front, on the outside stitching, because it doesn't really rip. At least the stuff that I have leaves a little bit behind. I saw Pat was here. I'm happy to have Pat here. If you look at my personal channel, I've got some questionable stuff on there. I think the last project video I published, aside from a wallet, was laser etched gonorrhea earrings. Yeah, the thumb hole is to make push-out cards. So this wallet is far from perfect, but it's done. Boy, I'm gonna have to discount this one because there's not a straight line on it. That's kind of the hazard of working on could I do like, I think what you're talking about is like a column stitch. So like just a solid, just stitching so thick you can't see through it. Which you can do with thin leathers, but with thicker leathers it's very hard. And the reason I'm not on this machine, the reason I'm not doing a column stitch, which is that very dense stitching, is because you need to do it slowly on leather. And this machine I cannot vary the speed of the embroidery. So, yep. So there's a wallet. So then I just take, again, my thread lock, the whole thing with thread lock, and then cut off all the little extra bits. And then I'll throw this on Etsy. And this one will be a little bit cheaper because the lines are all crooked. Oh, you know what? I should have tested it to see if it can even hold cards, because I didn't leave a lot of space. So I just drop that thread lock on there, and then I'll do the same on the back. Okay. And then after that dries, which will only take, 15 minutes or so, I cut off the extra. I'll even coat this whole graphic thing in thread lock. You don't even see it on the leather after it dries. It's nice. I love this stuff. But it's been holding up really, really well. Yeah, I mean, you can do embroidery solid like that. Like, while that dries, let's look at some embroidery. Put both the cameras kind of in the same place here. And grab some embroidery. So, like, I think this is what you're talking about. So, here's a patch that's been embroidered on this machine. And you can't see the fabric at all. None of this is the fabric. This is all embroidery thread that's been put through it. So I'm guessing this is what Brian Curry's asking about. Can you do this on leather? Directly on leather, you need to do it on a thin leather, and you need to do it slow. And this machine cannot be slowed down while it embroiders. So I'm not doing any like this. I'm doing instead thin stuff like this, which I can do on this machine easily. So that was pretty cool, right? Made a wallet, and it's drying, and then I'll snip off all that extra thread and test it to see if it holds cards, and throw it on Etsy. Oh no, I'm going to burnish the edges. That's something I should show. Really, I should burnish the edges with my Dremel tool, but I don't think it's charged up. So I'm going to see if I can do it with my drill. So burnishing the edges, nope, that doesn't work at all. That's not even tightened down. Burnishing edges smooths them out. Oh, come on, I don't have a screwdriver? What is this? What kind of world is this? Tighten this sucker down. Nope. Oh my goodness. This is just a big mess. Let me see if one of my other burnishing tools is working. There we go. All right. So it smooths down some of the edge of the leather. Oh, an Etsy link. Sure. Give me a minute. This leather is so soft. Okay, Etsy link. Yeah, I know. They're all outside in my wood shop. Which isn't very helpful here, is it? Okay, let's see. My Etsy link. I don't know how to do this. I'm looking at my shop, but I'm looking at my shop from my point of view. How do I shop manager? Oh, come on. This is dumb. Caleb doesn't know how to Etsy. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I'm doing. Aha! I found it. Okay. So there is my Etsy shop, if that works. Oh, hey, thanks, Richard. Yeah, I'll post it on YouTube, but YouTube says I can't do that because YouTube sucks. It's like, nope. Okay. Oh, it doesn't like having my name in it. Jeez. I don't know. YouTube's a pain in my ass tonight. So, I'm gonna make more. Or hey, it's a live stream. You guys want to see some embroidery? Let's switch over and do some machine embroidery while this dries, and then I'll post that on Etsy. So, to machine embroider. I gotta switch the machine configuration. So it's fancy. It's like it's a CNC embroidery system, which is freaking far out. And you will enjoy it if I can find my tools to take off the foot. Okay, I gotta swap out to the embroidery foot, which is different. Yeah, there's not much in my store. I just do it for fun, really. So I've got that giant mechanical iris and a stuffed animal. Really not much there. Really not much there. Okay, so that goes in there like that, and we're gonna switch to a different thread. Something a little more robust and a little easier to see, because this blue, it's very difficult for you to see on camera. I should have done yellow for this one. That is tight enough. Okay, so we're going to switch thread. Take out my blue. And we'll do yellow. Because yellow is easy to see. So here's yellow in my bobbin. Yeah, stay tuned. If you've never seen a CNC embroidery machine work, stay tuned, because this is pretty cool. So I throw the thread in the top. And I thread the needle with the magic little needle threading lever. Snip the extra. And I take this off. And I replace it with this whole big contraption. And I take the foot off. And then it says it's going to do embroidery now, and it gets ready. So let's rearrange you so you can actually watch this in action. Where am I going to put you all? Stupid dogs, still barking. Okay. So let's put you here. And then YouTube, you're there. And you should be able to see fairly well from there. Hey, Tim. So, what we're going to do, if the machine has it in storage. No, it doesn't. Is we're going to hook up to the computer, and I'm going to drop that I Make logo back on it. Oh, but first I need to put it in a hoop, put some leather in a hoop, so that we can actually embroider on it. So I've got a big chunk of leather, waist leather here, that I'm going to just stick in a hoop Guess you guys can watch that process. That's more exciting than staring at a sewing machine that's not doing anything. So I have these hoops, and then normally you would actually sandwich your fabric in here as well, but with the leather I've found you don't want to do that because it permanently adds wrinkles to your leather, which is no good. So this machine actually, it's pretty cool. It just connects by USB and you drag and drop your pattern onto it. But if you don't save your pattern to it permanently, between power downs, it erases them. So that's what happened, is I did that and then I didn't save it permanently. I've got a few patterns on there permanently saved, but they are much more complex than what I'm wanting to do right now. So just a little bit of spray adhesive to hold it down. So that's a piece of scrap leather. We're going to embroider I make on that in yellow in a moment, after I get it onto the machine by USB. Unless I deleted it. Hey, that could be fun. Then we'll just figure something else out. So the cool thing is, you could actually have done all this without a laser. So let's see here. I am now grabbing the iMake file and I'm dropping it onto the machine, none of which you can see because it's on my screen. And then all right, it's loaded. We are ready to rock and roll. Feels like I've got a grounding issue in my house. If I touch my computer wrong, I get buzzed. And that's no fun. Okay. Boy, I wish we didn't hear the dogs barking this whole time. So, this pops in like that. And we're ready to rock and roll. Let me see. Can everybody see? Not very well. Let me get you elevated a little bit over here, YouTube. You should be able to see a little better now. Okay, so first thing I do is I check to make sure it's going to fit in the space. And it is, which is exciting. Hey Matthew Haas, nice to see you. Okay, so it fits in the space. So this is going to embroider the words I make. It's going to look like this. Boy, you can't see it everywhere. So it's going to look like that. But I'm not sure how well these settings are going to work, so we will just see what it turns out like. And it could snap the needle because, like I said, I can't turn down the speed on this machine for machine embroidery. I can either just do it or not do it. So here we go. I'm going to help hold down the leather. Oh, this looks so much better than the other ones did. I've got the settings pretty good, but I'd still like that stitching spaced out better. Get some light in there so you can see it. That's the M. Then it'll jump over to the K. No, it's doing the A. It does jump around a little bit. So this is a machine font. This is actually a font made for for embroidery. And I don't like this one because it disagrees with the size I chose or something. And we get aliasing in the stitch, which is like stupid. So that's just a setting. That's just something I need to fix. And while that's working, I'm going to clean up this wallet that we made a little bit. Snipping off this extra. Oh, that's done. Well, that was quick. That was quick. Let me pull that off. We can take a peek at it. I thought I was going to clean up that wallet. Oh, I'm going to raise my foot. So, let's rearrange you back over here so you can see. That turned out decent. So Jerry, this actually is the embroidery foot, and it's really thin and small, and it's the one that they insist that you use because it has some mechanisms up here that do something up at the top. I have no idea what, but that's the one that it requests that you use for embroidery. Yeah, I mean, maybe I could, Brian, but right now it's not an issue. I actually kind of like these sparse style for the leather. And then all the other materials just work with, without an issue. Yeah, I did take that other foot off, and then I put the embroidery foot on, Jerry. So there's that. It's all done. I make. So I'm going to put that. That actually turned out nice enough. I think I'm going to put that on a couple of the wallets. I've got a whole stack of wallets to make, and I'm going to put them on Etsy. Probably like, I don't know, 30 bucks a piece. But if you look, so here's this one that just got done, and if I move it in the light just right, you can see that liquid that I put on it, that thread lock. You can see it around the edges. But after a few days, that thread lock wears off, and you don't see it anymore. I did it to this wallet, and you don't see it at all. So I almost like want to use the wallet for a few days before I throw it on Etsy so that it looks pretty. Because if I take a picture of this, let me wiggle it in the light so you can see it. You can see it there on YouTube. Let me try it on Facebook here. If I wiggle it in the light, you can see that goo. It's ugly. But if I if I use it for a few days, that goo goes away. So I just stitch off all this, I snip off all this extra stitching, and then use it for a few days, and it'll go away. Now, like I was saying, I didn't like this thumb hole very much. So I'm going to remove it. Now here's the real test. These are tight until the leather stretches. Like, there's barely enough room for a card. So, if I throw a card in there and cover up the numbers so you guys can't see them, this thumb part, in theory, should help you push that out. But this leather, it sticks on the leather so well that you can't push it out with your thumb. I better use something other than my credit card to show that off. Here's my driver's license. You ain't going to do anything with my driver's license. So, driver's license might come out. I don't know. It's slicker. So, here's my driver's license. So, that comes out. But I left the notch here so you can grab it. So, it really doesn't need this thumb hole. So, I made a handful of them with the thumb hole and then the rest without, because I decided it wasn't worth the effort. I mean, I could buff it, but it's kind of like a benefit that it sticks. Like you want it to stick so they don't fall out in your pocket. So, on the plus side though, testing this, it appears to hold everything just fine. Beautiful. So, wallet tested, it works. I'll wear this, or I'll actually use this wallet for a few days to make it pretty. So I guess, actually, I'm going to sell my original. I'll clean it up a little bit maybe and sell it first because it's pretty. And we will see. Butt sweat. Now I wear it in my front pocket, so you know, a little different sweat there. So that's it. That's how I make the leather wallets. That's how I sew them. I just cut them on the laser, stack them up, stitch them together. The end. Alright guys, it has been an hour. You have been watching me for an hour and it's been fun. So, I think I'm going to call it done and go hang out with my kids or make a bunch of wallets or eat dinner or something like that. Thanks for joining me. This was fun. I should do more live feeds because I think they're neato. I make, see that? Yep. There it is. A trifold. I don't know, man. I tend to only make stuff I want because I don't live off of it. So I don't know if I'll make one. We'll see. All right, see you guys later. Thanks for joining me.